Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Streaming Wasteland, my weekly show where I choose three streaming services and pick a film from each previously released. And hopefully, by the end of this episode, you'll have a nice whole weekend of movies ahead of you as this releases every Friday. And with this week, I'm going to be focusing on Netflix, Disney Plus, and Mubi. And let's get started on Netflix with some big laughs and a surprise hit back in 2011, and that is Bridesmaids. And this is from director Paul Feig, who really found his niche in terms of making these comedies, written by Kristen Wiig and Annie Momolo. And this is a film that has an incredible cast from Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, Rose Byrne, and just so many talented comedian Ellie Kemper, and obviously probably the biggest name to come out of this who was nominated for an Oscar was Melissa McCarthy, who really sold it as the big character in the group selling this comedy. And this film does not shy away from showing women in a raunchy way, and it does not shy away from uncomfortable jokes and drunkenness and some food poisoning and having to take a dump in the middle of the street in a wedding dress. And that's the kind of film that you're getting here with this wild comedy filled with so much talent. And you have the likes of like Terry Crews uh popping up there, Matt Lucas, and just so many other, Tim Heidecker, Chris O'Dowd, and so many talented supporting funny men in this film to go along with this incredibly funny crew that fills out the film as the central group. And this is a film about friendship. You have Kristen Wiig with her best friend Maya Rudolph, who is having this big wedding, and everything's being done up to the gills with a new friend, Rose Byrne, and this triangle of tension builds and certainly sells some really relatable aspects of friendship and really captures female friendship in a genuine way. And this is a film full of just so much fun from start to finish. This is a legitimately hilarious film and was a humongous hit when this came out. And crazy that a comedy like this got some Oscar nominations. But this film really captured a very specific place and grossed over almost $325 million worldwide on a $32 million budget. And it just Kristen Wiig is one of the funniest people working today. The combination with Maya Rudolph, who's hilarious, and Rose Byrne, who comes to play this season in this film as well. Just the three of them, along with everybody else, is so funny. There's so many great moments, whether it's on an airplane or, like I mentioned, with the whole food poisoning, trying out dresses, and just so many great moments in this film from start to finish. It is just an absolute delight with so many talented people and highlighting so many talented, funny women as well. And Bridesmaids certainly was the crown jewel of Paul Feig's filmography in terms of all these comedies that he's created over the past 25 years or so. But yeah, so go check out Bridesmaids over on Netflix. Now, with Disney Plus, you've certainly probably watched this movie before. You've certainly heard of it, but it might be have been a while. And taking advantage of that big backlog of back catalog of incredible Disney classics, you turn back the clock to 1959 and watch the original animated Sleeping Beauty. This 75-minute film is an absolute gorgeous representation of what Disney animation could do. And there's so many great creators in terms of Wolfgang Reitherman and Eric Larson, Clyde Jeromney, and Les Clark, who direct this film and brought to life with Princess Aurora, the titular Sleeping Beauty, as she is whisked away thanks to the threats of the malignant, the malevolent Maleficent, And this is one of the most iconic antagonists in all of Disney animation, Maleficent, and turning into a giant dragon, the horned uh costume that she has, just her look and her sinisterness and all of her ghouls that, pal up with her. You have the little fairy godmothers who are so much fun and so silly, to be honest, but so colorful. This film is absolutely gorgeous. Just the animation, the starting off with that iconic opening of a storybook. Sure, it's simple, the plot, there's not a whole lot of depth to it, but it's just one of those classic kinds of fantasy adventures. There's action, there's romance, there's true love, and some good humor. There's some scarier moments, especially with the big climax between Maleficent as a dragon and Prince Philip going toe to toe with flames and thorns. And this is a film that really captures something that this is what really defined what old school Disney was, capturing these classic princess stories and doing it in the most gorgeous hand drawn animation and just bringing so much life and personality to this. And sure, like I mentioned, this is simple, but it's lean, it's fun, it's enjoyable to watch, has some nice musical moments, and it's just a perfectly cast vocal team as well, with Verna Felton, Luddy, and Barbara Jo Allen as our three fairy godmothers, and Mary Costa as like one of the first like crowning Disney princesses is Princess Aurora, the Sleeping Beauty. And this is just a beautiful, fantastical Technicolor time that, you know, going back, turning the clock back, going back for nostalgia is a fun little experience, just like this film. Heading over to our last service, which is Mubi for this episode, I'm going to be highlighting Demons from 1985 and this horror film from Lamberto Bava, which this was indeed co-written and produced by Dario Argento. And this certainly has that giallo vibe to it. And this is really not the deepest of horror films, but it sure has incredible style and just the design of these horrifying creatures, the color, the visuals, the cinematography, the ghoulish nature. It just comes to light in this fun, crazy, dark comedy body horror flick, and a group of random people are invited to a screening of a mysterious movie, only to find themselves trapped in a theater with ravenous demons. And sure, the characters are not the most interesting, don't have the most depth, but it's a fun time checking out this group of people trying to fight off these evil demons that will stop at nothing to take out all of these people in this theater. And what a fun idea of having a horror film set in a movie theater and having all of these creatures coming at them. And Bava really captures that spirit of good old giallo horror, but also channeling some of that energy from George A. Romero in terms of like his zombie horror films. This feels a la Evil Dead. It has a lot of personality. It probably lends a lot of itself to other films, but I think it's a fun cast of young actors selling some crazy makeup and hairstyling and all kinds of bloody goodness in this wild film that really hits that relatability of going to a theater, being fully engrossed in a movie experience, and what if it came to life and came at you. And Bava certainly channeled a lot of his producer Argento's energy in terms of direction for this film, but certainly had made some fun films in his own right, including Demons, which I think is a fun, crazy, wild, over the top 88 minutes. This is not a long film, and it is fun time, especially if you enjoy that like darkly funny, grotesque kind of horror. And it's just a wonderful delight from start to finish, enjoying all of the craziness and all of the wild twists and turns in this story, and who's going to make it out alive you're never quite sure, but it's the journey, it's the vibes, it's the atmosphere, it's the music, that very 80s kind of score that really pulls us all together and makes something fun, enjoyable, and devilishly wild for you to enjoy. Maybe watch this one on a Friday or Saturday night. But those are my picks for this week's episode. Let's go into summation here as we head over to Netflix and looked at 2011's Bridesmaids, get you some laughs. Over to Disney Plus for 1959's Sleeping Beauty, an all time classic. And over to Mubi for a wild, bloody, darkly funny good time from 1985's Demons. But that's a wrap on this episode. But thank you as always for listening, and make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. Let us know what some of your favorite, you know, very like giallo stylistic horror films are. What's your go-to old school Disney animated film that you check out? And what's that comedy that gives you all the belly laughs? And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network has a lot of great content, a lot of great shows focusing on movies and television and music and sports and physical media and comics and, just talking about life with Luke. Make sure to check out all of our great content and really enjoy all these different perspectives here on the SPM Crew. And if you like our logo, make sure to check out HiFlyer Creative. They do great work, and if you're in need, they're a great resource. But most importantly, thank you for tuning in and always supporting the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.